If you've been on TikTok, you've probably seen. Actually, no, you actually probably haven't. But I keep seeing videos by this guy called Lab Germ. If you're hearing that name and you're recognizing what I'm about to say, or if you've read the title and what I'm about to say, um, this guy would take. I think they're called plecos. It's a type of fish, and he just brutally fucking dismembers them and tortures them, whatnot. Does the most. I'm smiling because I'm uncomfortable. He does fucking horrible stuff to these little fish, right? Like sews them together, makes like two-headed plecos, starts filling them with super glue, whatnot. And not all of them, but a good majority of the comments are people being like, yes, yes, those damn plecos. The idea is that since these fish, these pleco fish, are an invasive species of fish, that they deserve such torment, right? Which I mean, if we're gonna get into that, which I'm about to for the next couple of minutes, it's funny because the plecos that he's getting are store bought. He's buying store bought plecos. These are not invasive plecos. He's not even getting the ones that are harming ecosystems and whatnot. But my point arises, right? In in invasive species, right? Do invasive species deserve fair treatment? Do they deserve anything? And even further back, what even is an invasive species, right? The notion that invasive species deserve any sort of foul, any sort of harm is one that really dates back throughout history, right? You see an invader, let's just use that mindset. You see an invader, you want to deal with that, especially if that invader doesn't really mesh well with what you already have going on, you know? Let's say wild boars. If you have wild boars that are invading a ecosystem, they're going to disrupt the food supply, they're going to overpopulate, and they're going to add so much density to that part of the ecosystem, it's going to completely disrupt it, right? So as someone of a higher intellect, I'm saying this as humans, since we have a higher intellect and the ability to, I suppose, manipulate things in order to have a desired outcome. I wouldn't say the best outcome, but to have a desired outcome, we are able to manipulate certain aspects of our environment in order to lead us down certain paths, right? We've been doing that all throughout time. That's how a lot of evolution has come through different species, was because of specific crossbreeding or uh, removing or adding things to the ecosystem. Humans have done that throughout all of human history, right? What we have not done throughout a lot of human history is mass extermination or mass fucking torturing of these invasive species. Sure, let's go back to the wild boar example. Sure, yeah, we dramatically decrease the amount of the population that they have, but that is for a specific purpose, right? The culling of that population of wild boars is to allow for other species and other different parts of the ecosystem to kind of rebalance and thrive, right? What we see with these plecos, I'm going to even move past that and just go to generic examples. When you see just people stomp on bugs, I see a lot of things with bugs. I don't want to say June bugs are invasive. I know they're stupid. We get a lot of June bugs here in Texas. When I hear people speak of these creatures, right, and how they take pleasure in killing them and torturing, not even just killing them, but fucking torturing them in whatever ways possible, I always just cringe at the thought, right? And I'm not one of those people who's like, oh, every life is sacred, because they're not. When I see a wasp outside my front door, I'm getting a pole, I'm getting like Wasp X, I'm spraying its little hornets, and I'm crushing its body with my pole, right? I'm crushing its body. I'm crushing it with my pole. You know what I'm saying? I'm giving it to the wasp dirty style. I have no complications with killing and getting rid of certain species, animals, whatever, right? Where I draw the line is when you take pleasure in it, when you make it an event. Things like this in invasive species, fucking any sort of inconvenience you have with any sort of other creature where you find it necessary to eliminate them, I don't think you should stand there, get a fucking tripod, get your phone on there, smile to the camera, say, "Hey guys, I'm going to be fucking cutting. I'm gonna cut two plecos in half and then stitch two halves together from different plecos. See what happens." That's insane, right? That's fucking crazy. I've seen shit like that. I've seen where they take this guy took three plecos, cut them into thirds, and try to make a triple pleco. I'm like, what the fuck is your problem? What is your deal, right? Because then in my head, right? In my head, where does that stop? Where does that behavior stop for these invasive species, right? When does that term invasive species start applying to things that more more generic people probably wouldn't consider invasive? You know what I'm saying? Behaviors like that are always scary, and having it under the guise of like, "Oh no, it's okay, dude." Like, dude, it's okay that I fucking fill this little fish with like epoxy balm or some shit. Like, it's okay if I just take a syringe and jam it into this pleco and fill it with liquid cement. It's an invasive species, dude. That's insane, right? Is that not fucking insane? I think the concept of invasive species as a whole is kind of crazy too. Because frankly, what does it mean to be invasive? Does it mean to enter a new ecosystem? Right? Is that if that's the definition we're working off of? Humans are the biggest invasive species of all time. We conquered the fucking Earth. We took it over, right? At least for the land portion of Earth, we are populating a good majority of it. We have invaded a bunch of different ecosystems and have disrupted them beyond repair to fit our own vision of the world, right? So I'm not going to say we need to kill people. I don't want to kill people, right? I don't think we should do any of that. But if we're like, where does the line draw, right? Where is the line drawn here? Watch this curveball I'm about to throw at you, right? I feel like a lot of people, especially in right wing communities, view any sort of immigration as invasion. Watch this. I'll see videos online on mostly on Instagram because that's where a lot of, I want to say, just right wing kind of conservatism talking points kind of not only originate but also thrive in, right? Because Instagram is known for not having any sort of filtering, so a lot of bullshit just goes through and sticks. What I see a lot is people comparing immigrants, any sort of, not even illegal immigrants, legal immigrants as well, any sort of immigration into America. I see a lot with Europe as well. Any sort of immigration as invasion, as these people are threats. They are disrupting our way of life. They need to be dealt with. That sounds eerily similar to how people describe any sort of invasive species. Oh, these fish have come into my pond and they are disrupting my way of life and they need to go. What I fear is that the naturalization, the desensitization, I fear that over time people are going to be more desensitized to the concept of torture, to the concept of inflicting great harm, unnecessary harm onto people who fit the description of invasive. No, it's okay. They're an invasive species. They deserve it. No, it's okay. These I'm just going to use an example that I keep seeing from Europe. These A lot of these Muslims that are coming to Europe are not following our natural way of life, right? The way that we have assimilated our culture, which I understand there's concerns about assimilation and cultural differences are always going to be a big talking point. But what I hear is these people do not abide by our way of life, and they come to our land. They need to be dealt with. That that is where it becomes a lot more serious, right? You can chalk up people cutting up fish and stapling them together to try and make a pleco catapult. You can excuse someone taking a slug and stretching it out really thin to use as a rubber band in a machine. You can excuse that to a degree and say, well, it's just a slug or just a fish. I've seen people say that. Dude, it's not like it's not a big deal. It's just a little thing. It's just a worm. It's just a fish. Who cares? The way that younger minds can take the concept that extreme violence and downright torture is okay for those who are invasive, for species who disrupt ecosystems, disrupt the way of life. The concept of that being just the standard, that is terrifying to me. And again, I'm not one of those people who's like, oh, every soul is sacred. Everyone deserves a fair shot at life. I just think that, I mean, you watch his videos and you're like, what the fuck, dude? Like, literally, what the fuck? I saw him take three pleco fishes and, I guess, screw them together onto like hinges so we can make a trifold out of these fucking fish. That's insane, right? And you view that and you go, that's insane. Or at least I do. And I read the comments and they're like, yes, yes, more torture on these little plecos. These fish have done nothing wrong. Especially to you, man. Like, these fish do nothing wrong. I think a lot of invasive species don't really affect humans in a way that is substantial enough to then afford this sort of reaction, afford this sort of effort that's being put into not only humiliating the fucking creature, but also dismembering and 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 video recording it all and then uploading that. Like, that's insane. It's literally just torture porn on TikTok under the guise of we're we're saving the environment. We're getting rid of invasive species, bro. I think about the way that in 20 years time, people aren't going young people aren't going to have the same thoughts that I'm having right now, you know? I fear that in the future people are going to just be more accepting of violence towards others, and not in the sense of we need to restructure our society from the bottom up and need to get rid of some of the fuckers at the top. I more or less mean side to side, I think it's really I think it's really scary to think about how nationalistic the younger generation could be given all of the stimuli that's being presented to them, I'm only pointing out one example that I don't want to say promotes, but kind of just accepts that violence is an acceptable answer. It's like this is something that we can do. Yeah, we can go ahead and just take this little fucking slug and twist it until it explodes. Yeah, it was an invasive species, It deserved it. These animals don't have any sort of they don't even have the concept of concepts. It's not there's no like malicious intent. It's just life for them. And I imagine that when you have someone who's raised on the idea and the guise that if you are not from here, if you are not a part of this ecosystem, if you are not a part of my way of life, and you come here and you disrupt that, you deserve the the most insane form of physical punishment ever. That can like I make it sound so far fetched, but that can easily snowball. That can easily snowball, especially towards or from a generation that's so involved online, has critical lack of context for a lot of the things I see, as well as just the way the world is going. you know, I feel that in the future it isn't unlikely to see people just, I don't want to say making pleco catapults out of humans, but making some sort of spectacle out of, I don't even know how to phrase it, just torturing people for immigrating, you know? You are an invasive species. You don't belong here. You deserve this, you know? Am I reading too deep into this, or am I somewhat on a track? Who really knows? That's not even really the point of this. The point of this is for me to kind of speak out on something that I don't find pretty cool. What I'm trying to say with this video, invasive invasive species, do they deserve torture en masse? No, right? No. There's always a smart way, a more realistic way to address an ecosystem in distress, right? There's always a there's always a way to address that. And I think that the abundance and the audience of these videos, I think it's rather disturbing. Cuz imagine like a little kid, say 9 years old, he sees a video of a fish getting fucking dismembered and cut up and Frankenstein together with other fish, right? Let's say 10 9-year olds see that. Out of those 10 9-year olds, one of them decides to continue looking at those sorts of videos. And then it just goes deeper and deeper and deeper. And now they're on dark web gore pages and whatnot, you know? I think it's a very slippery slope, and it's a terrifying one to look at. Thank you. Doesn't help me, doesn't help them. It doesn't it's not fun to me. It's not fun for them, you know? At the end of the day, they want something fixed, and I want them to get off the phone. So the fastest way to do that is just to be the person who can just take that brunt, like force, take that brunt aggression, and then just get them over with. And it's not even like, oh, I just want to get this done so I can go back to my thing. It's more like I want to help this person as much as I can, but I also don't want to listen to this person. I swear, if I go get my laptop from work, I could probably pull like a 15-20 minute call of her just yelling at me, and it's not fun. I don't enjoy it, but I also have a level of understanding, a level of insight into what some of these people are going through, to be able to understand where that anger is coming from, so I can better assess it, address it, and then find a solution. What I'm trying to say with this video, guys, is be nice to the people that are working customer service. Please don't yell at me when I'm at work. I don't enjoy it. Thank you.